I'm Othman, co-founder and CTO of DOPP. It's the first fully on-chain order book-based option exchange. And DOPP is here to tackle three main points that we have seen on the DeFi, and especially for derivatives market and the options. First one is centralization. I don't know if you know, but Deribit has like more than 90% of the market share, and we all know the problems involved with the centralization. We have seen FTX and a lot of troubles related to this. Secondly, capital inefficiency. So we already seen a first wave of DeFi options DeFi projects, which were those which are mainly vaults that are selling options, but they are over-collateralized. And it doesn't really make big sense to have options which are over-collateralized. You can just trade spot or perps in this case. And lastly, lack of composability. So one of the biggest strengths of DeFi, in addition to be decentralized, permissionless, accessible, secure, composability is a big thing. In traditional finance, even in the same bank, you cannot find this composability that we have, and it's a big chance that we have. Just to give a brief context, I have been working in traditional finance for several years as a data scientist and as a lead data scientist, and I know that the composability part, it's not well marketed in DeFi, but it's a big, big strength. So, DOPP, our unique solution, which make us very different from what have been made before in the DeFi space, especially for options, is that we are fully on-chain. Means order book on-chain, execution, margin system, settlement, everything on-chain, inheriting Ethereum security. We are as much capital efficient as major centralized exchanges like Deribit, Delta, Binance, etc. We have the same aggregated standard margin system. We also working on a very optimized portfolio margin, which is also not very common also in centralized exchanges. And yeah, composability. So options in traditional options are by design standard contracts. And in DeFi, we don't have this standard for options. We have ERC20s for tokens, but we don't have any standard for this. So DOPP was designed with the goal of being as much composable as possible. So we are building this first and standard for options, this liquidity layer, so that people can come, build, etc. with it. So it can be integrated everywhere. It's just some ERC20s with metadata, like strike price, maturity date, and the option type. So yeah. So there is a slide missing, but it's okay. Let me see if we can have it. No. Okay, no problem. So as I said, the goal of DOPP is to give access to options to everyone to trade them in a capital efficient way. And also the goal, I don't have the graph because there is a slide which I can't show, but there is some vanilla strategies that can be built with options, with just combining different options, etc. And this we will give it in a one single trade for retail to have this kind of strategies like long volatility, which is just buy, call, and put option with the strike price. And this will be with the same in one single click, leveraging our native account abstraction. So what we are building is more than just a DEX. We are building a whole derivatives and ecosystem. So what we want to build is this first liquidity layer. We build the exchange, the order book. We bring the liquidity. We're working with top-tier market makers for this. We will have the best user experience possible. We already have leveraging the native account abstraction. For example, market maker have the same API as Deribit, so the integration is as smooth as Deribit. Yeah, DOPP is built on a ZK sovereign rollup. We're using Madara as a sequencer. You can see Madara as the OP stack, but for Starknet. So sequencer is Madara. We're using Starkware's prover, Sharp, to prove and settle on either L1 or on Starknet. And we are also using data availability layer for all the data that are not very interesting and which is changing a lot, have a big frequency of change. So we are in the Stable Summit, and we are here to talk about stable coins. So why do we really need options and derivatives for stable coins? First, we can imagine a new set of stable coins over-collateralized, delta neutral one where we put it and put option, so you are delta neutral, and the yield come from the payoff of the put option. Second, for a scalable and sustainable DeFi and stablecoins market, we need to bring big institutions, family offices, hedge funds, etc. These actors need to have the same product as in traditional finance. So right now, if you are in DeFi, yeah, you can have a stablecoin, but you don't have a, you can just lend it. You can't do much with it. You can do a loop, but yeah, you don't have any structured product or anything. So these players need to have the same product as in traditional finance. In instance, one of these products is structured products. How does it work? So structured products is just a zero coupon bond. A zero coupon bond is a bond that you buy with a discount, and at the maturity date, you get the zero coupon with the nominal value. And with the discount you get upfront, you buy with each option, either call or put options. So in our case, we are working with projects like Spectra, Pendle, Angle, etc. So for example, you take the stablecoin from Angle or Ethena or whatever stablecoin, you separate the yield and you get a fixed yield with Pendle or Spectra. And with this yield being paid upfront, you can have the zero coupon bond. Like in DeFi, you can buy the options or a strategy with the yield that have been paid upfront, and at the maturity date, you have your capital, your initial capital, which is safe, and you have your option, so it can be in the money and you make the money, or otherwise you don't lose anything. So you are exposed to the market, but your initial capital is safe. And these kind of products are very popular in the traditional finance world. So how is it possible with ZK? Because as you all know, it was not possible. It's impossible to have an order book on chain. It's a complete no sense to have an order book on L1. You have to execute an order book. All the validators need to execute it. For each order, you imagine all the validator creating the order or canceling the order. It's complete mess. So what is good with ZK is that you can execute only once and verify it everywhere. You execute your order book in your ZK app chain, or you can call it a ZK server, and then the validators will just verify the proof, which is much cheaper than executing or proving, in instance. So you can see validity proof, or what we call ZK, as a compression of compute. When you do a zip, you just compress the file size. In our case, you compress the compute. So you do a complex computation into your ZK app chain, and is verified on L1 in the cheapest way possible. So at the end, you can have as much computation as you want, theoretically, and you can verify it on L1 in the cheapest way. Putting everything on chain doesn't solve all the technical challenges. So we have all the smart contract on chain. So we have the margin system, liquidation system, we have the order book on chain. But with this being fully on chain, you also have some additional challenges. In Web3 in general, what we have seen in the past is that classic dApps just use an indexer, and on top of it you put a backend like a GraphQL or something. But in our case, the most important thing is latency. So to have this, the lowest latency possible and the best finality, you need to index data in real time, you need to ingest it, you need to process it, you need to store it, so you can serve it into your backend, your API, and in your front end. So with our strong experience in traditional finance and Web2, we have designed a whole microservices, multi-microservices architecture to do this. And it's quite very complex in reality to do it. Under the hood, you have the contracts, but under the hood, there is a lot of work so that your API can serve market maker with WebSockets with good performance, with zero compute on your backend and on your front end. So thank you. If you have some question, don't hesitate. You can come if you want some early access. Just to give you an idea about the current state, we have a private testnet going for a few months ago with some market makers, and we are planning for a mainnet end of this summer. Also, we're planning a public testnet very soon. So follow us on Twitter, DOPP HQ, and yeah, don't hesitate if you have some questions. Thank you.